Welcome to Debatable, Delaney, the show where we debate on feeling, not fact. My name's Delaney, and my mission is to destigmatize debating and bring laughter back to the art of debate. I'm a girl that likes to be right, so I'm here to give you the tools to gaslight, confuse, and lie in order to win your arguments. I'm also here to show you that you do not need research in order to win your debate. Today, I am joined by my friend Tarek as we debate the top 5 ways to turn up a party. I mean, that's debatable. No, that's debatable.
For the record, I will not be gaslit at any point today.
Famous last words. So what I mean by turn up a party is like hype up, like bring it up to the next level, bring a party from good to legendary.
Yeah, good to great, great to legendary, legendary to I'm having a terrible time.
Dinner party to Project X is what we're going for.
Exactly. That movie, for me personally, was like the height of what I always expected a high school party to be, and it never reached the expectations, but you know, we got close, and the closer you got, the better the party was.
So today we're doing a draft of how to hype up a party. I think this is really inspirational for people.
100%.
If you're throwing a party, like this is what you have to be doing to give your guests the party they deserve. There's
too many parties that I go to now. I don't go to too many, but the ones that I go to and that I'm invited to are not to the level, maybe not of Project X, but they're not to the level of like, I'm talking about it the next day. They're like, oh, it happened. But we need some more stories. We need some more memorable nights.
Totally.
And so hopefully this list will give you some inspiration, I think.
Well, even like a lot of mine are not even like, this is going to be an epic night. It's more just like, this is going to get your guests to stay. like we're at the age now where it's not like, this is going to be an epic night. It's just like, you want to make your party the best option for the evening.
No, I mean, I agree with you, but I'm more concerned with the fact that that's your first priority is like, I hope they stay longer than an hour because that's my usual guest and I'd like to get above that.
Well, I think that's true, especially if you're throwing a house party. There's a lot of like leakage of like, I'm going to the house party to pregame and then I'm going to go out.
Yep, 100%.
So you have to make the party an actual event that people want to stay at to prevent that leakage.
Yeah, I would agree. Hopefully, when we give these lists, we start getting the invites to more actual fun parties. You know, like shout out to anyone that listens to this. It's like these two would be great house party guests. We'll happily come together.
Truly.
And we'll hype it up.
Okay, perfect. So I hate to do this. I'm really excited about this draft and I love my list, so it pains me to do this, but since you're my guest, would you like to give the number one draft
I will absolutely go first. We talked about this before we started recording. There's going to be a lot of overlap.
I'm like stressed.
If this list could go on for 20 terms, then there would be no bad parties. But there's only a few things that you can do to make the party work. And so I will go first.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm nervous.
Number 1. Games.
Interesting.
Games livens up every party. Now, games.
That was not a good number 1 pick.
I will tell you why. There's so many parties that you go to that don't have games where it just becomes about talking to one another. And you can have a good party that way.
Right.
But games are a foolproof way to make a party from good to great.
So games is really hard because I had more specific games on my list. I mean, they were really far down. They were maybe like 7, 8.
Yeah, I made sure to capture all of them just to make it really difficult for you.
I had Rage Cage on my list because I think that's a really engaging game that everyone can play.
Yep.
Versus like, I think beer pong can actually bring a party down because that includes 4 people and then the rest of the people are now watching a game they're not interested in.
Yep, no, I totally agree with you there.
My problem with games as a number 1 pick is that it's this great strategic move if the party's already going, like you're sensing people are already drunk, like get people in the game spirit. But if you open a party and it's just like, oh, we're going to play Rage Cage, then it's like, oh, okay. And it's just kind of like awkward and nerdy.
No, fair retort. That's why I made it as vague as possible with games, because there's so many avenues, right? There's group games. There's games that don't involve alcohol at all that make it that much more better. I remember the first time I had a party that I wasn't sure what it was going to end up being, and someone suggested, let's do Jeopardy. And so we
cute.
ended up doing a Jeopardy game where we put it on the television, and someone like acted like Steve Harvey. It was electric. Like
That's super fun.
Is phenomenal.
I do think that games have this ability to bring people together. Like, you're going to end up talking to strangers, and the party's going to end up intermingling a lot.
100%.
I think that, like, Rage Cage, King's Cup, those are, like, great moves in the middle of a party to be like, okay, now that everyone's, like, had a little bit to drink and mingled a little bit, let's do a game to get everyone on the same page, is a great idea.
It can definitely be something that saves a party.
It's something that saves a party. It doesn't make a party.
It doesn't necessarily need to be the party, but
yes,
it's undefeated.
I agree with that.
Like, to me, it just never goes wrong.
I agree with that.
And
I do think it has a low ceiling and a high floor, in the sense that if someone's like, oh, want to come over and play games, then I'm going to be like, hell yeah, I know I'm going to have fun. I also know it's not going to be like the craziest night of my life, but I know I'm going to have fun. Like, it's a very high floor.
Well, parties come in all shapes and forms.
Yeah.
Not every party can be Project X.
I would say that games are a kind of life raft for a party. Like, if you have a big group of people that aren't necessarily mingling well, always suggest a game, because that gets everyone involved and it can really save your party.
So my number one is a life raft. But anyway.
Versus my number one pick. I think really brings a party to a next level. I'm so passionate about this number one pick. I think that it's incredible. Every party that I've been at that has this is my favorite party I've been to. So let me set the scene for you.
Okay.
The favorite parties that I've ever been to are bat mitzvahs, weddings, big events. What do all of those have in common? The best way to turn up a party is live music or a DJ. It automatically brings the energy through the roof. Everyone's dancing, singing along to their favorite songs. It's just like an electricity factory.
Totally. You nailed my number two. I'm very salty about it. 100%. Live music is undefeated. Just like games are. But it doesn't matter whether it's a DJ or a band or a karaoke machine. Like, you can't go wrong with somebody actually performing and everyone kind of gathering around that. Whether it's good or bad, by the way, is like completely irrelevant.
Totally.
As long as it's loud, you can't escape it, and everyone is attracted to it, you really can't go wrong.
1,000%. Especially, like, if there's a live band would be my preference. I think a DJ is fine. Having a live band with a dance floor is just like, there is 100%. Absolutely no other feeling like it.
Oh, it's the best. By the way, question.
Yeah.
Is that when you get married, is that is it hard, like you have to have a live band?
For sure, 1,000%.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm like split. It'll definitely depend on like whoever I marry. Like, they'll have a say for sure.
Yeah.
I probably lean to the live band as well.
Yeah.
Especially like a cover band. Just it's something about it I love.
Have you seen wedding bands recently?
No.
They're amazing. They have like a full band, and then they have like 5 singers that also dance.
What?
It's like electric.
What weddings did you go to?
It's the perfect scenario to party because, first of all, it's all songs that you've heard of. Like, it's all bangers. Second of all, you have the opportunity to dance if you want to, the opportunity to energize yourself by jumping around. If you're not feeling a song, go to the bar, get a drink, get your flirt on. Like, it's just the perfect habitat for a party to prosper.
I will say this, music in general, whether it's live or not, the absence of it is so apparent at a party that it's like,
true.
This is the one that's like 100% necessary that you can't, like, if you don't have it, there's 0% success rate. That's not going to happen. I will say that a shitty live band probably is really fun for the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but like, it's going to become a chore by like 30 minutes to an hour. Especially,
That's very true.
I couldn't even imagine a shit band during a wedding, like what that looks like during hour 1 or hour 2. Like, that's a nightmare.
Well, and like live music is a very generous term. Like, If you're at a party and someone's like playing Wonderwall on their guitar, I'm like,
Yes.
please kill me. It's so interesting hearing you say like music is make or break. Like it'd be interesting to have a party and choose not to play music the whole time.
Oh, that would be so interesting.
If there's ever a moment, a second with total silence.
Nightmare.
Nightmare.
You know you've done something wrong. And at a party, that's my like, oh, we need to go to the next place.
Yeah, horrible. Okay, hit me with your number 2, Tarek.
Okay, number 2 is tough because music kind of encaptures a lot of things, and live music especially. Number 2, I will go with an even ratio.
Oof, that is a good one. That is important.
1-to-1. All the frat guys in college know the 1-to-1 ratio. You need to make sure that there's an equal number of guys and girls.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes when you bring a big group together, you're going to end up having guys talk with guys, girls talk with girls, and that's totally natural. That's 100% how it's going to happen. But the goal is that they intermingle. And if there are too many on one side or another, then some sort of awkward energy is going to be brought.
Totally.
Where there's not enough guys to talk to girls or vice versa, where it becomes more of like you need to stay with your cluster. You need to stay with your people that you're comfortable with rather than branching out.
Right.
Right? Like there's so many activities you can do to bring the groups together. But after those activities, the goal is that groups are mingling with other groups. People from different lives are mixing with other people.
Yeah.
And
so
not
I
talking.
think this one is like extremely important. And I'll say the reasons why I think it's a good pick first, and then I'll debate it. Because I had this on my list. I didn't have ratio. I just had like, you need hot people at your party on my list.
Also important.
And this is because I think that hot people / ratio is how you get retention.
Oh, okay.
So you get people to come to your party, and especially as like a 25, 26-year-old, like your party is no longer like a frat party. Like people are coming to your house party, and a lot of people use it as a pregame. And the way to get people to stay at your party instead of going out is to have hot people there that they can flirt with.
Got it. But you mentioned retention. Does that also mean that somebody that would come to the party would remember the next day, oh my God, there were so many hot people at Delaney's place. I have to go back there for the next pregame.
Well, it's retention in the sense of like they'll stay at your party instead of going out. But for sure, they'll also be like, oh my God, Delaney, there were so many hot guys there. Like, can I get their numbers? Like, I want to start hanging out with you more. Like, if you hang out with hot people, people will want to hang out with you more.
100%. By the way, that's also like a shameless plug. Any hot people out there, if we're hosting a party, you got the invite.
Totally. No questions asked.
The more people that like become, I don't know, potentially interested in another thing or whatever it is, the better it is, because then that other people are talking about it and they're saying, oh my God, who's Delaney talking to?
Well, and like, if I'm going out, like I do expect to be flirting with someone. Like that's
100%.
just what I'm expecting.
No, but I agree with you there in the sense that I think you need to come to a party with a flirty energy.
Totally.
Because it makes yourself definitely more of a catch.
Yeah.
And it also like just encourages more conversation.
Totally.
Even if you're flirting somebody, not to like end up with them or get their number or
course
whatever
not.
it is.
I've never ended up with anyone I flirted with.
Never. Definitely not. But like the point is it gets people off their game.
Totally.
And it puts them in a position where they need to, step up to the plate and,
loosen
bring it
up
back.
their inhibitions.
Exactly. If you get flirted with and you don't flirt back, that's like a sign of defeat. I'm going to be honest.
Totally.
Even if you're not into them. Like the point of a party is you never know who you're going to meet. You never know, what's going to come your way. You just got to roll with the punches.
So my debate why this is a bad pick
Sure.
is if you don't have an even ratio that comes to mind, then it's going to be an awkward party. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, we're not throwing Project X style parties where there's like 1,000 people.
Speak for yourself.
When we throw parties, it's like 60 people max. So if like 40 guys and like 10 girls, like you're going to be really stretching to fill those other 30 spots.
Then just don't invite 20 of the guys. Like, just make it happen.
What a snake! Which 20 aren't you inviting?
Look, whether you like who you invite versus who comes is a different story.
That's
entirely.
very true.
But the point is to aim for that ratio.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a really aspirational goal. My number 2 for ways to turn up a party is going to be taking shots.
The bane of my existence, by the way, but go on.
I think this is like the most obvious second pick in the history of the world, because if you're taking shots, the party's already begun and people are basically signing an agreement to have a night. If you just host a party, like I've hosted plenty of parties where people come and they have fun and that's their night and then they go home. If you're agreeing to take shots, like you are signing on board for the night of your life.
Yep.
You're going out. It's a commitment.
Let me give my take on shots.
Okay, please do.
I don't like them. But that's not I don't know, like a social reason for them. Like I love the idea of having shots.
Yeah.
It's just that when I take a shot, I don't really feel great about it.
I don't take shots all the time. That's why I'm saying it's the ultimate move to bring a party up a notch.
Got
Is
it.
like I take shots when I find like a good group of people and I'm like, I want to have a night with you guys. Then I'm like, let's take a shot.
Oh, that's fair.
It's a bonding activity, similar to a game. It's a bonding activity where you're like, I'm now connected to these people, and this is a memory that we're going to have where it's like, the night started with this shot, and now we're going to have a legendary night.
You don't need to just take a shot in order for a party to be like the night of your life.
Tarek is having sober game nights, but the ratio will be there.
Hey, are any guys complaining? Probably not.
For sure they are. Okay, hit me with your number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is setting a theme to a party.
Love that.
There's nothing better than going to a theme party. Now, themes can come in all different ways and sizes. I personally love a party that doesn't necessarily like revolve around like an occasion, like a 4th of July or like a holiday or something like that, where it's just like, oh, we're having a party and we're setting the theme at black and white or something like that, where you just like arbitrarily set the theme and everyone commits.
The theme has to include a costume.
Exactly. And one thing to preface with a theme is you need like as close to like full participation as possible.
1,000%.
Anybody that's showing up to a theme party that isn't dressed in the theme, I'm going to be honest. If it's my party, you're not getting in.
Right.
Like that's a big red flag, and I just don't want you to be there.
Well, and you can make the theme like accessible. Like I don't think the theme should be something where everyone has to buy a new costume. Like denim and diamonds, black and white. Like making it stuff that people already have and making it easy for them to commit to the theme, I think is important.
Yeah, and I think you can make it that big. Buy it on Amazon. It's not that expensive, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But the goal is that everyone buys in. That way you have this fun conversation starter, right? It's a costume. It's you getting out of your element. You're not just like looking in the mirror of like, what am I going to wear tonight?
Totally.
It's like you've bought into this idea and everyone is doing the same thing, and then you can relate in that way.
Totally. You need anything to be an icebreaker to talk. That's why I
100%.
think that games and the theme are great icebreakers to talk to someone.
What's the sexiest theme?
The sexiest theme for guys
Either.
or for girls? I do think 20s is really sexy for both parties.
I would say country club is not the top of my list for women, just FYI.
Like the cute skirts, and I actually think girls look cute, but
could
I don't
play.
think it's sexy.
It could play, but it's not the top of the list.
I mean, the sexiest theme would be like lingerie, I guess.
You can't go wrong with the theme.
I think theme is a great choice.
But like I said, the only caveat is if half the party is going on the theme, it's probably not gonna end up well.
And honestly, that's my debate argument why I don't think this is a good number 3 pick. It's a great number 3 pick in theory. It's very similar to ratio. Like, yes, in the ideal world, that would be great. But as a 26-year-old, like I've been to a lot of parties with themes, and I am severely disappointed with the actual follow through.
No, I agree with you. I think hosting the party has a lot to do with making sure the party works. You have to make sure that whatever you're intending to do comes to fruition. If you just go to some random party and they tell you a theme, 50-50.
Yeah.
Like everyone could commit, or half the people could commit. And I think we're both the same people that if someone tells us this is what we're intending for the party, we're going all in.
Yeah.
Almost putting it out there that like you may not get into the party if you're not like even attempting.
Yeah.
Like,
same with ratio. You have to be like, if you don't bring 5 girls with you, you won't be let in.
I'm just having so many throwbacks to college of like, yeah, you're not in. I'm sorry. Like, it's just you and 3 other guys. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. By the way, on both ends of that spectrum.
Now are you starting to respect those frats more, that you're like, they were just trying to get their magic ratio?
Yeah, they knew it before the rest of us. They taught us well. The Greek life has a lot of problems, but one thing they taught us nicely is how to throw a good party.
Themes and ratio were very important for the frats.
Yes, exactly. The themes and the ratio.
Your party is actually a frat party without drinking, because it has games, it has themes, and it has the ratio.
Well, I'll get to the alcohol.
We'll see. My number 3, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of your guest list.
Okay.
Suggestion for number 2. And my number 3 is going to be having a celebrity guest.
Oh. It's not a bad option.
It's the same aspect of like guest retention, where if you have a celebrity at your party, like people will not be leaving because they're going to want to be watching what the celebrity's doing. They're going to want to talk to the celebrity, and it just adds this importance to your party.
How big does the celebrity need to be? Is it someone everyone knows, or is this like if you watch certain YouTube videos, you might know this person?
I mean, fish in your own pond. There's no level that this celebrity has to be. As long as they have some level of importance that your guests know about, that's all that matters.
How many of the guests? Is there a certain percentage, or is it like there's a general aura around him
it's more of the aura.
Okay.
Like, let's say I invited someone that was TikTok famous to my party. Even if you didn't know who it was.
I wouldn't, by the way.
People would be like, dude, she has like 1 million followers on TikTok. And then you'd be like, oh shit, like I want to talk to her.
100%. I'd be like, yeah, let me do my hair in the bathroom.
Totally. Even if you didn't know. So I think it's just like knowing that there's someone of importance in your midst.
Yeah, I back that. Let me ask you this. How many celebrities do you have on the DMs, or do you have numbers of that you can just like readily invite to the party?
Not many, do you?
I have like probably none. I would absolutely love to be in hangout territory with any celebrities that are in sea level and up, or wherever you gauge it, but I'm just not. So
that's San Francisco for you. This is why San Francisco is so much less of a city than New York or LA.
I love how Delaney is just assuming that everybody is like friends with a celebrity in one way or another. She's like, yeah, like obviously, like you're having a party, like invite the one with the most followers. Easy. That's like not even a question. And they'll obviously come and make the party spectacular.
Well, in San Francisco, there aren't that many celebrities.
There are a few.
I mean, there are a few, which makes it so much harder. In New York, like, you go out, you're meeting so many different people in different industries that like you're bound to cross paths with people with some sort of following. I don't think it's necessary. I think that a celebrity kicks your party up a notch. I don't think it's a necessity ingredient.
Right. And, we're trying to suggest things that, any guy or any girl can do when they're thinking about a party.
No, that's not true. We're trying to suggest things to bring a party up a notch. Make a night from good to legendary.
Okay, yes. If I'm having a party and I could invite Obama over to like smash drinks, like I would absolutely do that.
That'd be legendary.
Okay.
Maybe you should try it sometime. To your game night, your sober themed game night.
All right, let's go back to more realistic points.
Okay.
Because I agree full force that if you have like a great celebrity, then like it'll go well.
Yeah.
Or at least be something you talk about. So, okay, we're on number 4, right?
Yeah. Tarek's number 4 pick.
Okay, I think for number before. Everyone knows that music is essential to a party.
Totally.
And so
Your anthem.
And so at least if you're as tapped into music as me or you, then as soon as you hop into a party and you're listening to music, it becomes like one of the quintessential parts of the party.
1000%.
And you know exactly when you hear a bad song, when you hear a good song.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of bangers that could never go wrong.
Plenty.
So I'm going to give one.
Oh, no.
And I want to hear your retort.
Okay.
Because Delaney and I have a lot of overlap in our music choices, but we also have a lot of differences. And I would love to hear like your number one as far as like hype up the
I'll
party.
give my number one for my number four as well.
Got it. So my
I'm
number
so
one.
nervous because my number one is like so obvious to me. And if you take it, my number one is going to be bad.
I don't think I'll take it primarily because I've been influenced by friends that you may or may not know that this is the one.
Okay, let's hear it.
Stay by the Kid Laroi.
No! I think that's the worst pick of all time.
If you know, you know.
Oh, I know.
I was going to go down a throwback route. I was going to go down what's popping today.
My God.
And things like that. But shout out to Patrick Chen.
Patrick Chen has been mentioned on many podcasts. He's a very memorable guy. I've been in a karaoke bar where he sang Stay 8 times in a row. I know the song well. It is not a certified banger.
It is a certified banger.
No chance.
Let me ask you this. If you were to hear Kid Laroi and Biebs performing it live, you would not say the next day, that was the best performance of my life.
I have no emotional connection to Stay. If Stay played, I probably wouldn't even turn my head. I have no relation to Stay. I honestly might go to the bathroom while Stay plays.
Oh, come on. It's not, no.
Honestly, Tarek, like, I used to respect your music taste, and now I'm so confused that that's your number one pick for a party anthem? Stay by the Kid Laroi. First of all, doesn't pump me up. Doesn't make me want to dance. It has none of the factors of a party anthem.
Tempo.
This is mind-blowing to me, honestly.
All right, what do you got then? If you think Stay is so bad.
Oh my God, mine is head and shoulders above yours. It spans generations, but it's a fairly recent song. My number one pick for the best song to play at a party is Mr. Brightside.
I fucking knew you were going to say that.
Obviously.
The most overrated party song of all time.
Overrated because everyone knows it. Like, overrated basically means it's the most popular song in the world.
No, people that listen to Mr. Brightside are just obligated to sing the lyrics because they're like, oh, I know that song, and everyone's going to sing that song. But I don't think just because everyone knows the words that that's the go-to.
No, the go-to, the way to prove who's right and wrong in this debate is what song is everyone going to know in 20 years? And no one's going to know Stay.
See, I disagree. I don't think that's it at all. I think in the moment, what is going to make people dance more? Because
you cannot dance to Stay.
What are you talking about?
Tell me how you dance to Stay.
You just jump around to the beat saying, I don't stay, and I'm gonna never go.
Need you to stay.
She just started dancing and singing on to the song she said she doesn't like.
This is how I dance to Stay. I need you to stay, need you to stay. This is how I dance to Mr. Brightside. And I just can't look, it's killing me. Like, the hypeness for that one is so much more
I see
strong.
the disagreement now. You want to do like the rock star, like headbanger, like
I want to be hyped.
The whole 9 yards. But you see, I capture the modern audience.
Yeah, okay. I think that the issue and the discrepancy here is you're trying to capture a younger crowd.
No, I'm trying to capture the general audience that's going to show up to my party. And yes.
Which is 21 and under.
I'm not going to let that slide, but that was funny. Relatable question, though.
Yeah.
There are some songs that could have made my list.
Yeah.
That are by artists who have
R.
a problem.
Kelly.
So like my question is like, can we play those anymore?
I don't think we can have Ignition on our list.
Oh, I agree with you, But it was
But
such a good song.
But I do think we can have Michael Jackson on our list, which is weird.
That is so, I am in the same boat. And what's funny, and I bet a lot of people agree, I don't know why I think that.
I don't either. Like, they've done very similar things.
I think the whole thing is like R. Kelly's shit was either more obvious or more provable.
And R. Kelly's shit happened. It was obvious that it was happening while he was like doing Ignition. And then he was caught while he was alive. There's something about Michael Jackson being caught after he died where it's like, well, we can still respect his art.
And to be fair, if you're going to compare the two artists, Michael Jackson's just way above. As far as
although
music.
Ignition is a banger.
It's so sad that we had to get rid of that from our playlist. But
I know.
Like it feels so dirty to play, I'm not going to lie.
It's just so hard. It's really hard to know where to draw the line.
Yeah, I think like pedophilia is probably the line.
I think that's a good choice.
I think once you get in that realm.
Actually, that was my number 5.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Okay, speaking of, do you want to hit us with your last pick?
Number 5, I'm going to go with a location change. I think personally you should start at a house and almost treat the first part of the party as a pregame.
Okay.
Where you say, we're going to have a ton of fun here, and we're going to drink and play games and listen to Stay by the Kid Leroy and whatnot and have the time of our lives. And then make our way towards the next location, whether that's a bar, whether that's like a rented out restaurant or like maybe even a concert or something like that. Somewhere that the party can meld to, where as soon as the energy starts to feel low at that particular spot at the beginning, you sense it right away. People think they want to leave. There's not as much conversation going. Maybe the noise is a little bit lower and things like that. And you say, okay, let's go to the next place.
Okay, so what you are describing is a pregame. For my number 5, I actually think this is a very strong pick because we're trying to pick something that would boost the energy of a party, bring it up a notch. Mm-hmm. And I think this would definitely do it. And that is placing a wager of any kind.
Ooh.
So if you're at like a Super Bowl party, obviously placing a wager on the game. If you're at a party where you're playing Rage Cage, placing wagers on who you think is going to win. Any sort of wager, whether it be on a game that's happening at the party or a game that's happening on TV. Once you have money in play, it just makes everything way more exciting.
It definitely adds an energy. You like, that's a great point to make against me because I do love to gamble. And so if you give me like any option to put some money on, something completely random, like anyone that has ever bet on sports knows you can bet on a game.
Yeah.
You can bet on total number of points and stuff like that. And then you can bet on the coin toss before the game starts.
1,000%.
If you go that level deep with whatever wager you make at a party,
like it'll
pick up the energy.
If you make a bet of like who's going to be the first person to kiss someone at this party.
Oh, that's a great bet. I think
so fun.
I also think I think at a party, you don't necessarily need to tie your bets to money. I think you can also tie them to drinks.
That's very true.
Or to dares, maybe. I don't know.
Love that. So sexy.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I'll run naked around the block if so-and-so kisses so-and-so or something
Love
like
that.
I think that'd be a great bet. Yeah, I like this one a lot just because I can think of so many ideas that you can do to either spice up the wager as far as what they do if you don't win and things like that, or like what's gonna happen, like what are you betting like on? Challenging everyone to do.
Yeah. Okay, right. So let's review our top 5s. Tarek's top 5 were games, ratio, theme, Stay by the Kid Leroy, and changing location.
Yep.
And my top 5 were a live band or DJ, taking shots, a celebrity guest, Mr. Brightside.
The fact that you stuttered on that just only paints the picture.
And placing a wager. So those are our top 5 tips on how to bring a party to the next level. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Tarek.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
This was a blast. I hope you guys were inspired and now you know how to plan the perfect party. Please let us know who you think won the draft. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Let us know if you have a party and you need one of us to be there. We'll probably say no because we're pretty cool, but
if you need more hot people or a celebrity, our DMs are open.
Definitely the hot people part.
And please let a friend know if you think they'd enjoy this podcast. So thank you guys so much and see you next week. I mean, that's debatable. No, that's debatable.